I'm going to be doing the gel extensions tonight with a little twist of doing a tea bag underneath to give it a little bit of extra stability. I do the almond shape, and the first time I did it, they were just a little bit too pliable for me. So I thought of adding the tea bags underneath. So I've got my wraps here. I'm doing the butterfly effect and the Adam's favorite tint. Those are both retired wraps. I have a cute cotton ball with alcohol. I have my tweezers. I have a Q-tip with alcohol for doing the underneath part. My nail file, which I think I already said. My top coat, my nearly empty base coat, clippers for trimming, and my orange stick for cleaning up. I've got my Jamberry heater and my Jamberry lamp. So first we're going to start, obviously, with clean nails. And I've already buffed the top and also pushed my cuticles back. And turn the heater on. I like to use tweezers to put my wrap on because I feel like I have a little bit more stability with it and I can control it a little bit more. I just heat it for just a few seconds under my heater and start at the bottom, pushing down. And then heat for just a few seconds, down the center, down the sides. And I get a lot closer with my wraps to my cuticles than most people will or should. But I have very, 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 very dry cuticles, as you can see right there. And so I have never had any issues with my wraps lifting, so I get pretty stinking close. So I've heated twice, about 2 seconds each time, 2 to 3 seconds, and I am now done heating. So first what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my little piece of tea bag. I just have little squares. I cut them out ahead of time. And I like to bend mine a little bit so that it's a little bit more like that. And I use my tweezers and go in and I just stick it underneath my natural nail, shoving down the center and just pushing it underneath. And I like to use my other nail to push down so that the wrap still will keep its shape. And then after doing that, I go to trimming, and like I said, I do the almond shape, so I just use my clippers, and I clip almost to the center, but not quite all the way, so there's still a tiny little square left over. And so you've got your starting shape. So what I do next is I'm going to clean again because I just used my fingers to push down the top of the wrap, and so all the oils from my fingers are now on there. And I'm going to take my base coat and I start underneath and I go all the way down to the base of my nail, so I'm actually touching skin, and then I use my orange stick and I clean up any of that that's left over, and I personally just keep mine, wipe it on my pants. So you're going to heat that, and I do that through the lamp, and I'm actually not going to keep you guys on for that. When I was curing the base coat underneath, you want to keep your thumb up so that the light hits it. So now I'm going to go through and do my base coat on the top. And you want just little teeny tiny thin layers. And it's not necessary on this part to cap your tips because you're actually going to be filing that part off. I'm going to go in and cure again, and I'll be back in a minute. I'm going in with the top coat And again, we're going to do the same thing as last time. We're doing underneath the thumb first, underneath the nail first, going all the way to the bottom. And then cleaning up with the orange stick. And you'll go in and cure that again. And I'll be back in a minute. And top coat on the top. And I actually got a little bit around the cuticles, so you can go in and clean that up with your orange stick also. And time to cure again. The first part of curing is done with base coat and top coat, so I'm going in and cleaning off the sticky layer. And I use my cotton ball on top, and I use the Q-tip underneath. Alright, now at this point you can go in and do another set of base coat, top coat, underneath and on top. I don't like to file until I've got at least 2 coats of each on, but since I am doing layers, now that I've got my first coat of gel on, I'm going to go through and I'm going to put on my second wrap, which I'm again heating slightly. And you can do a little bit more heat with these since you already have some gel on top that gives you some stability. It's not going to, your wrap's not going to wrinkle now. Alright, and then cutting it down the excess. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and do my base and top just like I did the first time, curing in between each and curing the bottom a different time than I do the top. I'm going to do that and then I'll be back. And now all of that is done. I'm going to go and clean up again. And now is the time that you're going to want to file, and this is why you don't need to cap the tips, because if you did, you would just be filing everything off. So I'm just going in and trying to make my almond shape. I try not to go up and down. I try to go side to side, because even though you have gel over the top, you've still got your wraps underneath, and you don't want to start lifting your wraps. I go all the way from the edges, and I probably need to change to a new file because this one has probably seen its last day. You can also finish with a glass file if you want. It'll give a cleaner edge, but since I'll be doing gel on top of this part, I really don't need to do the glass file because it doesn't really matter. So there, I've got my shape, and there we go. So now I'm going to go through and I'm going to now put on another 2 sets of base and top coat. I'm not going to do the bottom because I've already done the bottom twice. I mean, you can see it's pretty strong already. So I'm just going to put on another base and cure, top and cure. I'm actually going to file down the top of this one so that the next one, and I just want to let you know why I file the top of my nail, and the reason why I file the top of it is so that the gel has something to hold on to when you go and do your next sets. So I'm going to put on my base and top, both sets, the next set, and then I'll be back. Some may not know how to cap tips, so I am going to show you my base coat so I can show you how I cap. So I just put on my base like normal, and make sure that you've wiped off and cleaned after you filed, because then you're going to have a bunch of gritty stuff and you don't want that. And so how I cap is, get that out of the way, I just get a little bit of gel on the ends, and then I wipe both sides, and then I go back through the top and kind of wipe off that because it'll leave a little excess. And now I'm going to go and cure here. You normally don't want to wipe off the gel excess in between curing your base and top, but it still will hold up. That is actually what I do on here. It is a hollow, let's see if I can turn this on. So it's a hollow powder, and that's actually what I do to do my hollow powder. Is I do my base coat and then I wipe off the sticky layer. I rub on my hollow powder and then put my top coat right on top of that. So now I've got my base coat and my top coat both done. So I'm going to clean again. And this is now the third layer of gel I've done. And, you know, as you use such thin layers that it's really not using that much of your bottle. I've had my bottles for, I had them for about 16 months. And I would gel top every single manicure I did, and I do mine weekly because I get bored and I don't like even a teeny tiny bit of grow out. And I just replaced mine maybe 2 months ago. So now I've filed again. You're going to wipe clean. And now I'm going to base and top coat again. That I just learned a couple days ago of doing with hollow powder. If you have it, if not, it's really cheap. You can get it on wish.com or really Amazon, anything. I think I got mine for $2 or $3 on Wish. And I found out that you can stamp with the hollow powder. So you just put a little bit of hollow powder on your stamping. You wipe the excess off like you normally would with polish, and then use your stamper, put it on top, and then you just stamp on your nails. And I actually started with doing that. I didn't want to do a full hollow nail. I wanted to do the stamp, but the stamp that I chose was really intricate, and it was really hard to tell what it was with the hollow powder. All right, so that was my last gel base and top, and it's all clean, and all of the nails are done. You can kind of, probably not see, yeah, I don't think you can see. My nail on these is about here. So I've got, you know, about 1/4 of an inch on the tips of my nails. My thumbs, I mean, really my thumbs, it's just the teeny tiny little bit of tip. But I love the gel extensions, and ladies, thank you so much. I cannot remember your names. I know Debbie Bird, I think, is one, and I cannot remember who she said she got this from, but you guys are amazing because I would have never come up with this, and I love it, and they'll last me at least a week, but like I said, I change weekly. Me off, and I think it's maybe because I'm losing battery, but so basically I change weekly, and they last me at least that long. Thanks for watching the video, and if you have any questions, just let me know and shoot me an email or give me a call, whichever. Thanks.